Hi, DJ Ron 3.0 here, welcoming you to your online playing account. So, first thing I'd like to do is just do a little bit of tutorial. I made this little video to just kind of guide you through how to use your online playing account, to just kind of help you out a little bit. I know that sometimes it can look overwhelming. So, in order to make things a little easier for you, I just thought I would give you a little bit of guidance to show you exactly what to do first once you've been sent the login information to access your account. So of course, the first thing you want to do is you follow the link to the online account, which will lead you to our website. It will lead you to the website specifically under Client Tools and the client login, and of course I'll supply you with a link that will take you directly to this page. Now I have set up a test account using DJB. We set up a false wedding reception. There's different types of events you can choose. We do a lot of wedding receptions and ceremonies. Wedding receptions and ceremonies are probably 90% of what we do, so I thought it would be easier just to do a wedding reception, since the majority of our clients that will watch this video probably will be planning a wedding. However, regardless of what your event is, whether it's a prom, a car show, a class reunion, you will have similar setup instructions and similar planning instructions, so you can follow this video and it should be still helpful. So the first thing you would do would be to enter the username, which most of the time it's going to be the email address that you have supplied us with. So I'm going to go ahead and enter that. We have rather long email addresses, as you can see. Then you're going to enter the password, which is auto-generated. You can change the password to something that's easier to remember. You can choose whether to remember the logon info. If it's a computer that you don't regularly use and don't want to do that, then you don't have to check this. But then you would click log on, and what happens is you are brought to this page. That's the opening page. Of course, you can see from here it welcomes you to the planner account. It kind of explains what each of the menu items are. You have the home item, which obviously takes you to the home page. My events, if you click on that, it just basically takes you to whatever event that you have set up in the system. As you can see, we've set up a false wedding reception here. It tells what the event is, the name of the event, what type of package. This is a deluxe wedding reception, and what the booking status is. Well, currently this is booked. My profile, of course, tells whoever the main contact is. A lot of times it's going to be the bride, it could be the groom, but whoever that is tells what what organization they're with, which is a lot of times just the name of the event. Their email address, if they have a website, that would be here. Any contact information as far as phone number and address. It also have your username and password, and you can also change your password from this page. There is the contact heading, which here you can actually send us emails directly here. If you can either email us using your own regular email program, or this just gives you a more convenient place you can send us a message. It also has our main contact number, my email address, our mailing address, as well as the website, and of course you can log out. If we go back to the home screen, we also see down here the nice little countdown meter that's just showing how many days until the event. So the first thing you want to do from this page, after you've explored everything, is obviously you have planned my event. We'll also say, before we go into plan event, you have two other options here. There's event details, which simply just shows you the details of the event, the date, shows what our setup time will most likely be. Sometimes this could be earlier or later. Shows your event start time and end time, and again it has the event name, what it is, it has the event ID number, it gives a description of the package that you're getting, tells where the venue is, has venue contact information, has information about who's going to be doing your event, which will be me and DJ Daisy, the attire we'll wear. And of course, the package has all the financial information, shows how many payments you've made, what your current balance is, and all of that. And if there's any changes, you could click this to request changes, and we would get that, and we could do revisions. So from here, we can go back to Plan My Event. We'll say one more time, let's go to the home. There's the make a payment. You can also make credit card payments right here. If I wanted to do that, I'd click here. You'd put in how much that you wanted to pay, click Pay Now, and it takes you to PayPal. So you can make installment payments there. Of course, the initial $100 deposit reserves the event, and then the remainder of the payment is always due 30 days prior to the event date and can be made in installments. So first thing, let's say we're going to plan our event. First thing we want to do, plan my event. So you'll see you'll have these different options. You have music, forms, names, and timeline. And you can also, if you want to print any of the forms that you have created, you can go up here and you can select them. Kind of gives you a quick and easy way to select them. But let's say we wanted to select some music for our event. That would be under the music selection system. And as you can see, we have add requests. You can view any requests you've made. There's also an option. There's a link. You can actually give guests access to go in and request songs if you would like for your guests to be able to request their own songs. Most of our clients like to let their guests tell them and then they enter them themselves, but this is an option that is there. You can print your requests and special songs. You can either enter under add requests or special songs. I would recommend entering under the special songs heading, because you can do the special songs, or say songs that you want for like special things, like say if you want a bride and groom intro, you want me to play a special song and do a special customized introduction, your first dance, father-daughter dance, all those special traditional dances and little events that you would do at a wedding. You can choose music for those here. The request tab simply is stuff you might like for the dance portion. If there's certain songs that you say, oh, you got to play this song, you'd put those under must play. Then there's play if possible, if time permits. If you have any special dedications, if there's songs that, hey, I like the song, but only if someone requests it, don't play it otherwise. You can put here. If there's something you don't want to hear, you can put that here. And then cocktail hour and dinner music requests, if there's specific things you would like me to play during those particular times, if you're having these, if they're applicable, you can even put choices here. So for instance, just to give you a quick, like say must play, let's say we wanted to make sure that I played Uptown Funk. Okay, so if you can either type, if you know the artist name, you can search by artist, you can search by song. Let's search by song, and let's just type in here Uptown Funk and do a search. And as you see, it came up here, Mark Ronson featured Bruno Mars. So all we've got to do is we can either hit this to add it, or you can simply drag it over and it puts it in there. You can do that, and you have a limit, but you can add up to whatever your limit is, as many songs as you want. These are the songs that I'll use to do a customized playlist for you. Under the special songs tab, let's say for your first dance, it's like, oh, we would like to hear Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran. Whoops, a little mistake there. Thinking Out Loud. So we search, and there it is. So we would just drag it over here, and there it is, first dance, Thinking Out Loud. Now, if there's a song you don't want, let's say, for instance, we're not going to do a wedding party dance. We're not going to do that special dance. And as you can see, I have like a description that tells kind of what these dances are. You can just say, we don't need that, and it'll just mark it as NA. That's very helpful to me to know for sure if you mark NA for things that, I know you don't need it, and it's not something you're just waiting to select or whatever. But there's also top hits. If you need to look, hey, what's some good songs for a wedding for, let's say, bride and father dance? So you can click this, and it's going to search a music database, and it would bring up popular songs that could be used for that. Of course, as I can see here, this thing is kind of spinning and spinning. Sometimes, depending on connection speeds or activity at the time, it may freeze up on you there. But if you're patient and wait, it should come up. For this purpose of this video, we're not going to sit there and wait. But one thing, while it's spinning here, I can tell you there's also ideas. These are some that I have put in myself of stuff that I have played commonly. So let's say, for instance, I'm looking for, again, let's say the father-daughter dance. I could select it. And then these are some songs that I've entered. These are some popular ones that I've done a lot. I plan to add more as time permits, as we know, whenever I'm able. But these are some that I have in there now. So if you're kind of stumped on something, you might check this out and say, hey, that's a good idea. I'll choose that song. But that's the music selection system. If we go back to planning options, under forms, as you see, you're going to usually see your deluxe wedding reception planning form. There's a form for bridal party contacts, bride and groom wedding trivia questions, and then wedding reception special games, dances, and activities. Now, the two most important forms that I would need information from right away would be this form, the deluxe wedding reception form, and the reception special games and activities form. This is because these are usually they have the main crux of what's going to go on your timeline. So if you were going to complete these forms, the first thing you would do is just simply hit edit, and then you just fill out the fields in the form. Of course, the first part of the form is just general information, names, contact numbers. It's going to ask you about the reception venue, guest arrival times, things like that. It asks a few questions about photographers and videographers, and some reception highlights. Are you having cocktail music? Are you having dinner music? If so, what kind of music? Or you want it just to be DJ choice? And so you can click drop downs and you can choose, say, hey, I just want that to be the DJ choice. Or if you're going to do dinner music, of course, obviously you would have said yes, and if you said, I want dinner music, and you'd say yes, but this type of music, you say, hey, for that, I'd like to have jazz, and then there's an option for other. If there's something not in the drop down, you can type that in. For introductions, again, you have the music selection system, but then you also can enter your songs here as well on the form. You can do it both places, or you can do it either or. If you feel more comfortable just entering it on the form, you can enter on the form, or if you've done the music selection system, you can leave it there. As long as I have it one of the two places, it's ideally to have it both places. It's just easier because I'm going to end up filling it in just for purposes of, I usually print this form to go by when I'm building a timeline, but however you want to do it, either or. Here's all the different songs: cake cutting, bride and groom dance song, bride and father, pretty straightforward. This is an important section of the form, bridal party introductions. So if you want a special introduction and you want me to introduce the wedding party, this is where you would list any and every person who should be in that lineup. You don't have to fill in all the fields. Like, say, for instance, if you don't want your parents to be part of the introduction, or if you don't want your flower girl or ring bearer or whatever, if it's just strictly going to be bride, grooms, and groomsmen, or if it's just going to be the bride and groom, but whoever is going to be in it would go on this form, and you need to put them in the very same order that you plan for them to be introduced, so that I can build a script, and I'll do a demo recording and send to you, and we'll check it out, make sure it's what you want to hear. But I need this information as soon as possible from you. Also down here, when it says bride and groom, it asks, how do you want to be introduced, as Mr. and Mrs. so-and-so, such as Mr. and Mrs. Ron Auville, or Ron and Lisa Auville. How would you want to be introduced? There's also a little bit of question here: would you like to incorporate any special games or activities? It's either yes or no. Let's say if you said yes, and you look here and you say, well, I think I'm going to definitely want to do the dollar dance, or the anniversary dance, or the newlywed game. You could select those here. Now, after you make any changes to the form, you always want to save changes. And if you just wanted to simply view the form, of course, you could hit view, and then anything that you've filled in, of course, you could go back and look at that. Again, if you chose yes for games and activities, the next form you'd want to come to would be down here at the bottom. First part of this form, it asks about some popular line dances. If there's certain dances, if you want to hear the electric slide, cha-cha slide, Cupid shuffle, you can also fill in, if there's some dances not listed here, you can fill them in here. And then each of the games, let's say, hey, we did want to do the dollar dance. you'd tell it yes here, and then it asks you a few questions. You know, well, we want to do a 10-minute time limit. Anniversary dance, if you said yes, and then it asks you some questions like, do you want to present them with a prize? And you can say yes or no, and then what would that prize be? The newlywed game, same deal. Anything that you don't want, you just want to mark no. That way I know, hey, don't plan on doing that. They don't want it. This one in particular, the wedding trivia, this is a game that we can play a lot of times during downtime. It does require a separate form to be filled out. If you were to choose a wedding trivia, and then you chose exactly how you want us to do the wedding trivia, there's some different options. The next thing you would want to do, let's go ahead and leave this page. We're not going to save it. Next thing you would want to do would be to fill out the bride and groom wedding trivia questions. You fill these questions out because these are the questions we would ask the guests when they were trying to play trivia, because the whole idea of the wedding trivia is they're going to try to answer questions about you that basically only you or someone that knew you very well would know. So these would be the questions you would need to fill out if you wanted wedding trivia. If you don't want wedding trivia, then you don't have to bother with this form at all, because it's not applicable. The last thing I'll say, the bridal party contacts form. This is more or less for your own benefit, more so than mine. You can just kind of list the names of, it's kind of like everybody that's in your wedding party, kind of emails, the sales numbers. Sometimes it might be good for me to have those for some reason, but more or less this is kind of a planning tool for you if you need to keep track of everyone. If we go back to planning options, the names form, again, is also, that's kind of, it's good information for me, but might be good for you too if you want to keep track of all the names of everyone that's going to be in your wedding party, your videographer, vendors, photographer. This is good information. It's useful for me, but it's more so for you probably as far as beneficial. The last one is the timeline. Now, you're more than welcome to try to build this yourself if you feel comfortable and know exactly how you want this scheduled. A lot of bride and grooms like for me to go ahead and draft the timeline, and then they will look at it and they'll make suggestions if they want to move anything, change anything. It's up to you totally how you want to do that. If you did want to build it yourself, it's simply going under edit. Up in this little space, you can kind of type, what it is. And I usually would say timeline for the Auville Archer wedding reception, and I'd put the date and time and all that. Right here are the choices for, these are some of the most common choices. So like say guests begin arriving from the ceremony, you just simply drag it over and you'd say, about 5:30 guests should start arriving, and then, if you have any comments, like say DJ will be playing soft music, then the introduction of the wedding party, they're going to be taking pictures till 6 p.m. By 6 p.m. they should be hitting the wedding reception. So you could basically build a timeline that way. Things that aren't over here in this left column, you can actually free text and type in. It's totally customizable. But basically this would be the schedule that we'd follow. It's not etched in stone. Again, this is a wedding. Things happen, but this is at least gives us a format to follow so that we can keep you as much on track as possible, because we want to make sure you have the most awesome day possible and that we can get as much stuff in, but we can make changes on the fly. We can rework things. I mean, we've been doing this. I've been doing this 24 years myself. Lisa's been doing it the last 4, so we've had plenty of experience with this, so we can help you anyway. But this would be the timeline. Like I say, I'd be more than happy to build it for you if you feel more comfortable with that. But if you have an idea, go for it. It's your day, your way. So we're just going to say cancel and return. Of course, if you wanted to save that, you would say save changes. But basically, in a nutshell, that's how you use your online planning account. So I hope that has been helpful. If you want to watch this video again, I am going to be placing it on the website under Client Tools. This is a trial for me to do this. This is something I've been wanting to do, so I hope this has been helpful. I appreciate any feedback, any comments, suggestions, or anything that you think I could do to improve it. I also will put it on our YouTube site as well, so that'll be another place that you can access it if you go to YouTube and look search for DJ Ron 3.0 or Digital Jambox DJ Service. But I'm going to leave you to it. Welcome again to your online planning account. We are so glad to be serving you. We plan to help make this the most awesome event we can for you. So I will be talking to you soon. DJ Ron out.